Well, hi babies, hi my loves, my sweets, my darlings, hi. I hope this video finds you well. It is a general message, so take what resonates, leave the rest. Please use your own discernment and intuition. Whenever you find it, it is the right time because all my messages are timeless. Okay? Timeless. Also, I will never reach out to you for personal readings because I'm not doing them, and I would never do that anyway. Like, hey, hit me up, let's chat. If they ask you for money, it's not me. Please report those people. You know what it is. All right, let's get into it, shall we? So the song I got on shuffle is Billie Jean by G Perico. Essentially, like, what I'm getting here is, yes, you have the same past as maybe like a group of people, or you were associated with them in the past. And now people are like saying you're fake or faking it, whatever that looks like, because you've grown past this, you've matured, you've chosen to live a different path, and they're jealous. And you don't fall for the traps that you used to fall for. We have the Knight of Viking Horns in reverse that fell out here. So that's like impulsiveness, lying, thinking too quickly and acting too quickly and making like poor decisions, or, you know, just being a little reckless, super fast. I'm also getting, it's like, because you have changed, they forgot, like they didn't know what you kept from your past self, and like how you used to move, and what they haven't, what you have, like what you let go of. Because like with this G Perico, you know, he came up from, you know, he's a little gangbanger, but he, you know, he's making good money and he's working for it, he's on his grind. And, you know, there's people like trying to end him over it, you know, that type of stuff. And, but he's still not, he's not afraid. He's not, like he still has those old, like, you can't mess with me, or, you know, I will die for what I believe in type of stuff. He's still part of that. And so maybe, you know, in the past, like you were this ride or die, like extreme person, but you've changed your ways of living, or, you know, you've matured past a certain state of like what you were surrounded by. But people don't realize that, you know, you're still a G. You're still hardcore. And so now they get into these impulsive, reckless, hell, you could have been impulsive and reckless too. But you've learned to control your impulses, you know, when you want to act on something and you know you shouldn't, you wait. You can control your emotional responses and be like, oh yeah, I'm too emotional to make a move right now. I'm not going to get caught up in this. And it says, no simp, I don't fall for the scandals. Hurt feelings leave hearts in shambles. Don't buy roses, no candles. Only main bitches, no randoms. Because you've changed so much, they just don't think you're that person, or maybe they don't think you ever really were about it. If you ain't about it, fool, you're about it though. And their reckless behavior is soon to expose that if it hasn't already. King of Skulls. And that, oh, so that was the Viking horns, was the Knight of Swords. If I didn't say that, this is the King of Skulls, which is the King of Cups. And it's upright, so that's emotional maturity. The ability to not act on, you know, just as I was saying, not act on your emotions. You have mastery of your emotions. The king is the master of the suit. And interesting, I'm being called to look at his little skulls on his knees, and it's making me think of like knee pads and, you know, he has like shoulder pads and stuff. Like, you're not afraid of the hard work that comes with it. You know, you're not afraid to be face up, ass down, or ass up, face down, you know, to make something work. You put the work in. You'll be on your knees, and or, you know, you'll sit on your throne. You'll do it all. And you're not in this like ego, like, oh, I'm too good for this or whatever. And that's where things are getting misconstrued, is people think that because you think you're better than whatever it is they're caught up in, they're not realizing what you came from is still part of you. And you don't have this like, oh, you don't have that mindset. It's just a projection of theirs. There we go. Six of Viking horns, which is the Six of Swords. And with this exposure of their behaviors, I mean, you've already known what they're about, what they're on. I'm sure as you began to grow and shift, you saw what it was. You saw through the truth, through the illusions, and you saw the truth, which was they're intimidated, or your growth makes them feel lesser than or whatever, and you're not trying to do that. You know what it is. And this has helped you move on from that. You're like, well, I don't, essentially, because we did have the Ace of Cups try to pop out a few times. It didn't fall out, but I saw it flip a few times. And that's that self-love. You're brand new, you're different now. You've grown because you've learned to give yourself love. You're important above all. Your growth is important above all. And sometimes the hard work is self-love, you know, having to do the work and be on your knees and put your body through extreme things. Sometimes that is the self-love. And you're moving past that, moving beyond it. And interestingly, I'm kind of seeing that as like your guides, your ancestors, the Holy Spirit, whatever you believe in, has taken you in this with you. Like, they've been with you, they've directed you, and you followed the directions. You listened to the signs, and they put it in your face what these people were up to, and you're like, wow, I don't want to be like that. The people you were surrounded by were reflecting what you were living, and you were like, wow, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be this person anymore. And you knew that wasn't you anyway. So we have the Seven of Skulls, which is the Seven of Cups, Six of Bibles, which is the Six of Wands, and the Six of Hellfires in reverse, which is the Six of Pentacles. Yeah, and they think that you're in this like, oh, I'm better than you or whatever energy, because you're winning and you're allowing yourself to win. You're not being ashamed and making yourself smaller like you have before, because their manipulation tactics and all of that have worked, and you did get smaller. You did hide your ambitions or didn't allow yourself to win because you're like, well, what if I embarrass them, or what if they, whatever it was. But now you're allowing yourself to stick out and go against the grain, because ultimately, like I said, the self-love is allowing yourself to win, allowing yourself to grow, doing this hard shit. And there's this confusion, just how this homie is like getting clawed at and all of this. It's like, they think because they operate out of their ego and their need to get attention, affection, these codependency, insecurity, whatever that is driving them, their tactics to claw at you and try to yank this from you. Maybe they did like screw you over and you lost like a car or something significant to you over all of this, but you're still standing tall, you're still chin up and still on this path. All of their attempts to manipulate you and destroy your confidence and drive to keep on this path and keep growing isn't working. And in fact, you've withdrawn even more with this Six of Hellfires in reverse. Like, you don't give anything to them anymore. You're like, I'm seeing it for what it is. We have 3 sixes out here. So the Six of Swords, the Six of Wands, and the Six of Pentacles. You saw the abrupt change, the abrupt, you saw what you didn't want to see, essentially, is that you were surrounded by toxicity. And, G Perico raps about, like he's like, the closest ones to you will try to get you and take your life or whatever. You saw that the people closest to you that you thought had your best interest became jealous, and their true colors showed. They were like that the whole time, but you were in a different mindset to where you gave your power away to outside sources, but you got closer with the Holy Spirit, the universe, your higher self, and realized you don't have to do anything that you don't want to. You just have to live your life. And the more you changed and grew, the better your life became. Yes, maybe you met harder challenges. You bit from the apple of truth, and now there's no going back, but you wouldn't want it any other way. It is, you went through this loneliness, isolation, depression, seeing the dark truth of it all, but your life became better. You got more blessings. You got rewarded more for seeing the truth. So if you're feeling dissatisfied and alone, we've got the Three of Cups in reverse, so the Three of Skulls in reverse, with the Ace of Bibles in reverse, which is the Ace of Wands, and the Nine of Hellfires, which is the Nine of Pentacles. So that you might be feeling alone and like, man, I'm like the only person that's doing this. Like, this is a lot. And there's this dissatisfaction in, you thought that these people would rise with you and continue on this path. You know, you had this expectation, and maybe dealing with that has taken away some of your motivation, some of your fire, some of that light, just in realizing and reflecting that, man, like, I can't believe that. Like, why? And maybe you're dealing with a lot of like gossiping and attempts to isolate and make you feel small. You're not being affected by it like they would expect, but you're also affected in the way of like, man, people are like that. Ugh. And so that might be dimming your light, making you tired with that Ace of Wands in reverse, that Ace of Bibles, making you tired. And maybe you've slipped off your spiritual practices, like your prayers and stuff like that, because you're constantly having your shield up so you can keep, you know, not lose face, essentially, not lose this vibration you've held for so long. It's become a lot of work, and it's causing exhaustion, essentially, because you are having to protect your energy from all of this. So let's see what the advice is with this, because that is what's making you tired, is having to shield yourself from all of this. We have the Temperance in reverse with the Four of Skulls, which is the Four of Cups, and the Hierophant in reverse. I'm actually going to pull and we have the Five of Skulls in reverse. So allow yourself to feel this depression, this tumultuous stuff that's coming up, the surge of emotions that come up with this. Allow yourself to feel it, that dissatisfaction of like, man, I really was hoping for something different. But don't forget that there's other things around. And also, you can jump, if you desire this so greatly, like, you can jump a timeline to where there is reconciliation, there is growth. You just have to believe that that's where it can go, and be patient with that process. But ultimately, I'm getting is you need to just allow this disappointment and this surge of emotions, the disappointment, all of that, because you knew it all along, but actually accepting it and letting that go and letting go of the hope of them growing with you, and you having that expectation of they're going to be with you forever, whatever. Emptiness is uncomfortable also. And don't forget, with that Four of Pentacles, or sorry, Four of Skulls, Four of Cups, you may not be seeing that there are really great people around you, great, you know, they see your worth and they want to keep growing, and you might not be, because there's so much going on with the thing that you left, the group that you left, that you're unable to see that there's great people around you that are on that path as well. So interestingly, we have the Temperance in reverse with the Imbalance card, and that's 23, so that might be significant to you. So there's a definite imbalance. Because Temperance in reverse is about imbalance, and the experiment didn't go as planned. We have Abstract in reverse. That's telling me that this was all part of it, and this is part of your growth. Unfortunately, we had the number 52, which is connections, people in connections holding themselves accountable, holding each other accountable. And we have Conflict in reverse at the bottom of the deck. at some point, giving these people in this situation your energy is draining you. And you holding on and fighting for that and trying to help them or whatever is only depleting you further with that Ace of Bibles in reverse. And, you know, it's keeping you from your creative pursuits because you're giving energy to something that doesn't give back. It's hard. It's a hard truth, but it's not worth the fight with them. I do have to end it there, babies. I gotta go to work. I love you so much. And sorry to end on that, but I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye, babes.